Look at this. It's absolutely beautiful. Smooth, dark, and shimmering with potential. This is the pan you just brought home from the store. The ultimate kitchen luxury and the promise of a better, easier life where nothing sticks and everything just slides away. You think you're cooking healthy for your family. You think you're winning the domestic game, but that's just day one of the illusion. Fast forward just a few months down the road and take a hard, honest look at the reality sitting on your stove. The glossy black surface is now dull. The edges are starting to blister and peel, and there are those tiny, jagged, unmistakable scratches right in the center of the cooking zone. That's not just normal wear and tear from a few heavy dinners. That's the blueprint of the world's deadliest business starting to flake off into your food. Every single time you used a metal utensil, turned the heat up a little too high, or scrubbed a bit too aggressively with the wrong side of the sponge, you were chipping away at a synthetic shield, which forces you to ask the million-dollar question. If that toxic black coating isn't on the pan anymore, where on earth do you think it went? Welcome to the dark reality of the Teflon industry, where the world's deadliest company isn't actually selling you high-quality cookware. They're quietly selling you a slow-motion eviction notice from your very own body, wrapped in a glossy corporate bow. To truly understand how this trap was built, you have to shrink down to the molecular level and meet a synthetic compound known as PFOA, or simply C8. To a mainstream chemist, this molecule is an absolute masterpiece of engineering. A rigid spine of 8 carbon atoms tightly wrapped in an impenetrable suit of armor, made entirely of fluorine. This carbon-fluorine bond is the undisputed heavyweight champion of organic chemistry. It is so unbelievably strong that nature itself has absolutely no idea how to break it down. Extreme heat doesn't kill it, ravenous bacteria can't eat it, and the passage of centuries doesn't even scratch its surface. If the dinosaurs had been frying up breakfast on Teflon-coated surfaces 65 million years ago, those identical pans would be sitting in the dirt right now, perfectly intact, totally non-stick, and waiting to give a modern archaeologist a liver tumor. Back in 1938, when DuPont accidentally stumbled onto this slippery white powder, they didn't see a scientific anomaly. They saw a permanent license to print billions of dollars. It was the perfect product from a capitalist standpoint, because it was incredibly cheap to manufacture. Every single household on the planet instantly wanted it. And, here's the terrifying kicker, once you release this molecule into the open environment, you can never ever take it back. By the dawn of the 1950s, DuPont's massive marketing machine was aggressively selling the dream of better living through chemistry to every single household across America, plastering happy housewives and spotless kitchens on television screens nationwide. But while the public commercials showed a bright, clean future of effortless cooking, the highly classified internal memos circulating within the company's executive boardrooms were already tracking a catastrophic bug in the chemical code. They watched in total silence as a bizarre condition called the Teflon flu began striking down the factory workers on the assembly lines, causing severe chills, breathing issues, and raging fevers just from breathing the heated fumes of the manufacturing process. Even worse, their own internal testing labs were already flashing red with data showing severe birth defects in the children of pregnant female workers, alongside shockingly enlarged organs in every single generation of laboratory animals exposed to the compound. Yet, the astronomical profit margins generated by this global non-stick phenomenon were simply too massive for the executives to ever consider pressing the stop button. Instead of sounding the alarm or redesigning the product to save lives, they chose a much more calculated corporate strategy. They buried the evidence, locked the blueprints for our biological downfall inside a secure corporate vault, and watched silently as their indestructible chemical creation began its slow, inevitable march into the global water supply. They didn't just keep the secret, they let it escape into the wild. Because C8 is indestructible, every single gallon of toxic waste DuPont dumped into the Ohio River didn't dissolve. It traveled. It seeped into the local water table, evaporated into the clouds, rained down on distant crops, and worked its way up the food chain. Fast forward to the present day, and the independent lab results are absolutely horrifying. Scientists testing human blood across the globe discovered that PFOA is now present in 99.7% of all living Americans, including newborn babies who are born with the chemical already flowing through their umbilical cords. It is in the polar bears in the Arctic, the soil of the deepest rainforests, and the rain falling on your roof right now. You see, the ultimate trick of the world's deadliest company wasn't convincing you to buy a pan. It was turning the entire planet into a passive consumer of their poison. When independent attorney Rob Bilott finally cracked open DuPont's secret vault after a massive 20-year legal battle, the world learned the true cost of non-stick convenience. 1, 2. The data tied C8 exposure directly to kidney cancer, testicular cancer, thyroid disease, high cholesterol, and ulcerative colitis. 1, 3. They knew the risks for decades, yet they chose to dump over 7,000 tons of C8 contaminated sludge directly into the environment, prioritizing a $1 billion a year cash cow over human survival. Rest. They didn't just build a product. They built a permanent chemical tax on human health. This brings us to the final, chilling reality of the non-stick empire. You might throw away your scratched pan tomorrow morning, but you can never throw away what it left behind inside your cells. The Teflon industry successfully installed themselves as the final landlord of your biology. They